Hi everyone, how are you all doing today? If you're good, then please raise your hand up. Oh, I can see that a lot of you are good, so that's great. Today I want to talk to you about vegan and vegetarian, but first, I want to tell you that everywhere we go, everywhere we step on, a cave is following us. And that cave, I name it the norm. And the tools you have are also your confidence. The more confidence you have, the faster you'll be able to break out of the norm. And when you break out of the norm, you're not the normal standard that people expect you to have anymore. You're now a different person, different from everyone, different from every being. Dr. Seuss once said, "Why fit in while we're born to stand out?" Which I think is a really good quote. In contrast, it explains that we're born to stand out. So we shouldn't really do what others do. We are our own species. Now, I want to ask you, before I start my speech, are there any vegans or vegetarians in here? Oh, that's quite interesting. I can see a few of you are, which is a good number. I'm also a vegetarian. So, why did I choose to be one? And what does this mean exactly? A vegetarian or a vegan is somebody who only eats leafy greens or vegetables and doesn't eat any meat. According to WT Vox, only 14% of the world are vegetarians or vegans. In comparing that to 7 billion people counting, it's a really small number. So I want to join in the fun. I want to be different from others. One more thing, according to PETA, the animal factory is not perfect. We can all agree on that. Because every animal is being tortured, especially when they are locked into really small places. In animal factories, chickens, if they're male, they get shredded. But if they're female, then they get to live on. But their life is not going to be any happy. Because female chickens their feathers will be cut off. They will be shot with juices that would make them much more tender. And they would be crowded into just a small pen. If they fight each other, their beaks will be cut off. And finally, they will be transferred into meat. Those are the chicken nuggets we eat. And also, meat is also the major cause of carbon dioxide, climate change. You see, beef. You can see the beef here. It tops up all of the others. That's because cows produce a lot of methane. That methane rises into the air and destroys our ozone layer. Because cows are kept in really small groups in a really large number. And the larger the number the cows are, the more methane will be produced. When they're spread it out, the methane wouldn't really cost much. But because they're grouped together, meaning that the methane would just gradually increase, leading to climate change. And there's a difference between vegetarians and vegans. Vegans are not eating any animal products, while vegetarians don't eat meat, but still they eat eggs, drink milk, and eat cheese. Now, I want to ask you, who here has been different from others, like being out of the norm, just as I said at the start of my speech? That's a that's a that's an interesting number of people. This story happened in school approximately 1 year ago. I turned vegan. I turned vegetarian because I wanted to save animals. They gave us a lot of resources, like wool. So I think we should save them, right? in school, it was a normal day. Until lunch came in. I sat down and ate all of my food, except for the meat, of course. And then it was a normal day until the afternoon, when my friends started to ask me, why did you eat your meat? Well, to them I answered, well, I just turned vegetarian a few days ago, so it's normal to do that, right? My friends were like, no, it's so weird. Why are you doing this? Please stop. I was like, no, I won't stop. This is what I do. I think it's good. So that's what I do. I get teased, of course, because if you're different, then the first thing you get, your feedback would be teased. People would tease you because that you aren't the same as them. You're different from what they do. My initial thought at that time was ignoring them and doing my own business, because that's what they did to me. That's what they did to me. It's not good, so I ignore them, and maybe that would be good. And my parents also told me that if someone's bullying you, just ignore them, they'll stop. But what I did was complain and argue to them, which is the opposite of what I wanted to do. And things just got worse. But in the end, I decided to stand up for myself, and I ignored them. We're even now. But please, I'm not forcing you guys to be vegan or vegetarian, whatever, because forcing just makes it worse. We already had a reputation that we force others to be vegetarians, and that description doesn't match us at all. We're a different being. And also, if you are one, please do not force other people. It's ruining our reputation, and I don't really think we deserve that. Thank you for listening.